We are on day 3 of Wisdom of the Soul, tuning in, tapping into all of our yumminess. And today is pretty special. We are very excited to have some people who are joining us on the Zoom live. So perfect.
Yes,
So
yes.
for the last 2 days, we have gone through a little bit of a journey together. And if you haven't caught both days, that's okay. We have the replays available in the Angels Don't Lie Facebook group, and you can get those. So first day, day 1, we went over the principles for living in soul alignment and how living in self-love can help us to tap into the purity of who we are, the truth of our soul, and tap into that wisdom, which isn't of earth. That wisdom is from heaven. That wisdom is higher and feels better and has so much possibility to it. And then yesterday, we went over a little bit more. We talked about the soul as being an infinite, expansive being, how you are here in this physical realm and you are with God and you have a higher purpose. And so we talked about that kind of connection. And I kind of circled around both of my books because these are the topics that really mostly light me up, because once I learned to live in soul alignment, what changed for my life and what I saw change for my clients and my family and just my friends, everyone around me started to shift their frequency and their vibration. And what I found was there was just more joy. There was more joy. And the threads of that we can, oh no, not the threads, but like the thing that we all have in common are we have stories. We have storylines. We have those impressions that stay with us that are not necessarily the good impressions. We can call those trauma, we can call those pain points, sufferings, the things that we've gone through that really separate us from who we really are, the person that we are desiring to be. We also touched on the difference between wanting something, really wanting to have something, but not necessarily tapping into the truth of our own desires. And so we're circling around all of this yumminess because I've been telling you about my soul shine sessions. And inside of this soul shine beautiful experience that I do, it's bi monthly. So we meet twice a month live via Zoom, and I get to be in everyone's energy and be all like connected to you guys. What we're doing in there is we're uncovering the hidden beliefs and that are tearing you apart. Those hidden beliefs that are keeping you in pain and stopping you from really being expansive and using your gifts, your beautiful, beautiful gifts. And why is this important? Look, we all want money and health and happiness and the great relationship. We want these things. We do. We know we deserve them, but we don't have them. We get overweight. We go through menopause. Really, really rare, real stuff. We're going to have these experiences. You're going to have PMS. You're going to go and you're going to want to have a baby and it's not going to go exactly how you plan. You might have a birth plan. I know many people say this. Oh, I made a birth plan, and I chuckle. Having given birth 4 times myself, knowing for me, a birth plan is bullshit. Because God has a plan and it doesn't go according to your will. And so we can try and hold on to all of these pieces around our life, and it just gets harder and harder for us. We forget that God has a plan. God does have a plan. So we're talking about like how to be expansive. How do you receive all of those yummy things that you want? How do we, feel better in our bodies when we are overweight or we feel like we're trapped? Or how do we feel better when we have an illness on board that we're really struggling to go through? How do we work through the grief of a departed loved one who really left a mark of pain in us that we haven't healed yet? How do we get over the passing of someone that meant so much to us and we continue to suffer and suffer and suffer and it feels so bad and uncomfortable? How do we get to be ourselves? How does life go forward? Well, it does. That life doesn't miss a beat. It doesn't miss a beat because we are in pain, because we're suffering, because we're uncomfortable, because we're unhappy, because we gained 10 pounds, we've lost 5 pounds, we broke up with a boyfriend, we're in love with someone else. It doesn't stop. Like, so we have to be willing to step into serving God, stepping into our purpose, coming up into that heavenly realm, to tap into the wisdom that will really help you to move through the muck that is stopping you from being happy, from having those expansive experiences. What is it that you truly desire? Yesterday, we talked about postcard visions. The most important thing you can do is to pour your love into your postcard vision. Right, Sophia? Like those postcard visions, right?
Pouring the love into them. Absolutely. Yes.
If you aren't going to love them, who's going to? If you aren't going to respect you, how do you expect the outside world to respect you? If you aren't going to care what you put into your body, then how is your body going to respond? If we aren't going to pour the time, energy, love, and resources into becoming and being the real version of us, the highest version of us, that truth and that soul that's beautiful, shiny, and came in to do all this stuff, if we aren't going to spend time to get to know who that really is and what lights you up, instead you stay in the suffering or jumping forward into a future that can't happen because you haven't healed yet, then it's just staying the same. And that's no fun. So that's what I offer in Soul Shine. I offer to go in with you on a journey, hold your hand, love your energy, give you some tools and insights, remind you of who you are, hold you while you start to see that spark of yumminess of who you are, and have that come on board and have that be the thing that starts propelling you to shift some things in your life, to claim a responsibility, to have compassion, to forgive, to step out of an old role and into a new one, whatever it looks like for you, and whatever feels right and good inside. When we help you tap into those feelings, that's what it's about.
And you get to witness all of the other women doing it as well, which is so special.
And nobody's left behind. I want to say that, like, just because you will witness, and sometimes this can happen too, when we're so down on ourselves, we see somebody else doing something and we're like, well, you have it all. Well, it's easy for you. It's easy for you. Oh, I have this all the time. It's easy for you. And yes, there were things that were really easy, but there were things that weren't easy. There were things that were really hard for me, just like you. And though my story is different, it doesn't mean that it's less. And because I have worked really hard and really diligently in my life to move in alignment with my soul, to say yes to those postcard visions and no to what the outside world told me, it doesn't mean that it's easy. Writing a book is not easy. It doesn't just happen. I had to study. I had to take writing classes. I had to teach myself. But you can do this too. You can teach yourself the thing that comes in that postcard vision. You can do hard things. You did the hardest thing at all. You grew up and you made it to here and now. You do hard things. I love Glennon Doyle always says that. We can do hard things. Yes, you can. Amen. But those hard things don't have to be the thing that stops you from being you. And so we meet every month, and it runs for as long as you need it to run for you. Well, most people stay in for a year, but I don't contract it. I don't set this program up to be like, you have to stay in for 12 months. No, you get to stay in for as long as your soul needs to heal, to get to the place where you know that you can take all those next right moves with confidence, where you know you have the tools. So it's not about me, honing you in and keeping you contracted and saying you have to do this, this, and this. This is about you. This is about you getting to choose. And that's what this is all about, right? This is what it's all about, is you getting to be in your body. So that's what we're going to do. I know, I think we have a few people here on Zoom. So what my plan is to bring the people that are on Zoom on, so that they get to have questions, that they get to lean in. I put that as the angel seed, because it's one of the things I absolutely love to do, is help them to go in where the pain point is, because that's one of my specialties, and we zoom in, and I say we, this is God, this is the angels, this is their support system, and to go in and help support them in what they need for right this minute, not what they want, what they need, what God has for them. And this will showcase a little bit of what soul shine looks like in the inside view, like if you were an insider. And we're also going to do another guided meditation, because these meditations are special and they're channeled and they come through and they're brilliant, and we're so excited to share them. And so we have Barbara and Rosemary on here. So hello, ladies. Would you like to unmute? Would you have you say hello? Let us know how you are.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you, Barbara.
Nice to meet you too. I've been listening to your podcast. I kind of found you randomly and have been following you.
Where are you located?
Long Island.
Nice. And you have such a nice view out there. Look at you sitting outside.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Have you listened the last couple of days, Barbara?
I listened to the recap this morning.
Great. And what stood out for you?
So much of it, actually. Just for me, being a mom for 21 years, I'm finally at the point where I'm doing things for myself, self-love, putting myself first. But also, as soon as everything lines up and I feel everything flowing and happening, I think I get scared almost and block it. So that's where I'm at right now.
And that kind of makes sense too, because anything new any change feels different, right? So
Yeah.
right away, I feel like all of this angelic presence around you. I also get like a father figure that stands for you. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I love this. I wasn't planning to do readings, but he's just popping in to say hello. And he has like a little hat. I kind of want to say, I don't know what the kind of hat, but it's like thin and comes and it kind of buckles in the front. He's got a hat on. He's just like letting me see the hat. Do you understand this?
Okay. Yeah. I don't know about the hat, but
it's good. So, but we'll hold on to that, because there can be a reason for it. It could be that he's showing me like around, sometimes hats will come through around like, he feels Irish to me. So I don't know why he's pointing, Irish, Scottish kind of feeling.
Okay. That could make sense. Sure.
Okay. So that could be why he's showing me that, like kind of just giving me that energy. He knows that he's like, I know this isn't the time for the reading, but I just wanted to say hello and smile. Okay. So let's talk about where you want to dive in. Like, what is the biggest space, the biggest thing that comes up for you right now?
Biggest thing for me is I have been working really hard on my spiritual development. For years, it has come and I pushed it away, and I've been doing some classes with somebody local here who's a healer but does spiritual development classes, and I've been listening to the podcast, and every time I start to feel the connection, hear the connection, I just get scared. I know I am a healer. I've been working on that, but to make the next step forward outside of doing it in my house, not even with people, just really for myself, I know I get scared.
So listen, there's a reason why you were brought to like the podcast randomly, right? So I speak in a language that I stay in the lines of what God wants us to know. And I'm feeling like this is a touchstone for you. It's like, well, we can be spiritual, but a lot of spiritual teachers will be on the outside of God. They won't talk about that. They'll talk about universe and energy, and they might bring in guides, but they're not necessarily talking about celestial beings and archangels and things like that are definitely right up your alley. That just brings me to like, oh, I get really excited when I talk about like archangels, and I see like you working with different archangels in your healing work. And you were born a healer. Like you haven't just decided this was something you were going to do or play with. This is actually something that you come into this life because you were a healer previously. And in that life, you just were never, and I don't tend to do past lives, but they say like in that life, it tend to be like you weren't seeing a value. And so I feel like that's the karmic imprint that's kind of stayed in your life and kind of woven into other areas, like a little bit of, I want to say, unworthiness. And that just kind of like, they show me like kind of like straps your feet down so you can't go forward. It's like you just
Mhm.
don't have the confidence or the, like, you know, you have all the know-how, you have, like, everything is there, but it's like, no, stay here.
Mhm. Yeah.
So what I feel like we could really support you with is unknotting that, like unknotting that lie, because that's a deep one though. That's not like, you know, that's not something that you just picked up at the grocery store yesterday. This is something that you have been walking with, so it's very familiar. So
Mhm.
it's entangled into like relationships, they say. It's entangled into like the personal energy of how you speak with inside. I
Mhm.
love all of the classes and the things that you've already done. I feel like you have a really great foundation for shining your light. Sophia's like shaking her head. She sees it too. Like you already have it. It's almost just like a little purification. It's almost like what I would like to say is like they're like, it's like baptism. It's like just coming back in to that holy energy to feel the being held. So you know you're not doing it on your own. But that's the problem right now. I feel like you have to do it on your own.
Mhm.
So it's like a reconnection, so to speak, with source energy.
Yes, that makes sense.
What do you feel about that? Like what's coming up? What's poking you? Or they're saying trigger. So
We'd mentioned relationships. A lot of it
Mm.
is with my husband. It's all of that, the unworthiness with me, him being in control. And every time I do raise myself up, raise my vibration, move forward, I have resistance. And then I always just let it go. And
yes.
I'm trying to not do that. And that's where I think what drew me to you is the spiritual classes. Those are for me to work on what I'm learning, but I'm not getting the talks that you do. Listening to your podcasts helped me so much, but having the connection of being in the soul shine, I think would help because I'm getting that, as you said, being carried, knowing I'm not alone.
Yeah. And I love that. I feel like you're so right. And one of the things I found, and I'm going to be very personal with you, is when I started to do my work and I stayed in the spiritual side, I did have all that stickiness in my relationship with my husband because I was a mess. My energy was messy. And when we are messy inward, it reflects to the people outward. We teach them how to speak to us, how to show up for us without saying a word. It mirrors to them our insecurities, our deep rooted pain. And because we're so intimate with the person that we live with, that can get really mucky. And so once we start reclaiming our energy, and when I started to heal the inner thoughts and the inner turmoil, the outward stuff started to calm down.
Right.
I regain the ability to say that doesn't feel good, because see, we get numb, we forget our feelings, we put our feelings aside. We're people pleasers. Healers are just people pleasers. We just want everybody to be happy. No wonder you're putting it aside. You don't want to feel it again.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like soul shine would be like such a beautiful next step for you in terms of like seeing other women and seeing, oh my God, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy.
Exactly.
And like God has so much planned for me. Like you like are a very clear reader. Like I get that. I see it for you. And I feel like that's probably why your dad came through too, because there's a permission slip there. There's a, I can show up and you know, I'm here. That means I'm giving you my permission. So whatever that struggle is that you had in that male relationship with him, he sees you and he's helping you.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you found me, he says.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't think so.
Sophia, do you want to jump in here? I feel like you have stuff to say and I want to give you that space.
Yeah, thank you, Jeannie. Thank you so much. Barbara, I want to thank you so much for making the decision to hop on today.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be really hard to say, you know what, I am going to show my face and I am going to share my story. So I want to give you a lot of credit for coming on and sharing a little bit of you and having that vulnerability about you that allows the healing to come in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's how it starts, right? You get vulnerable you're not afraid. And that's when the healing can come in. I really liked that Jeannie was talking about aligning with source energy, because that's what I feel for you too. And I resonate with that, the thought that like we have to do it by ourselves, and that spirituality, yes, it comes from within, but we're so not alone in it. It's not an independent activity. It's a group, community, God, source, energy, power. So you're not meant to do it by yourself.
One of the things I really adore that God has changed in the way that I work, and this happened a couple of years ago, was having my team be part of the work, where I wasn't doing it all alone. And so that looks really cool for me, because it's not one voice that we need. Sometimes we need it to be told in another voice, and sometimes we need another perspective. It's so beautiful to have that support personally, and then seeing how the people within the classes or soul shine, like seeing how they are supported by my beautiful team is another way. It's just another added bonus for everyone to get more than what they expected. And that's really the promise for me, is like you get more than what you expected. Yeah. Thank you. I'm so glad that you came on. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love it. I always feel such a high vibration, in these calls, and there's such a high vibration to today, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
Yay. All right, let's see if Melissa can just unmute.
Hello.
There she
Yes.
is. Perfect. Hi. So I'm so glad that you can join us, and you got to listen to Barbara. So I'm just curious, I'm going to ask you the same question. What are you hoping for? What are you leaning in for today?
Kind of my backstory, how I've had the last 3.5 years, I completely lost myself. I was so I couldn't even, I couldn't feel anything. And I used to be really in tune with myself, did meditations, was very intuitive. I controlled my empath abilities. I took care of myself. But, for the last 3.5 years, I haven't done that. And now I've been dealing with a lot of stuff with my health. So I've been, my mind, kept telling me, no, I can't even break into that because it's so stressful with the health stuff. Well, lately it's so weird because I am getting treated finally. But it's there's big sky of clouds, okay, gray clouds. And then, when there's the big sky of gray clouds and then a little bit of sun rays kind of shine through, and energy, all this stuff, my, I guess, premonition type stuff. All that stuff is kind of keeps trying to shine through, and it kind of makes me laugh, okay, I get it now. Once come out. And so now I feel I'm starting to open up that passion for that and be able to use that with my medical healing finally, because I was so closed off to everything. But now it's it's forcing itself to be come on, I'm coming, I need the sun again, I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
that's kind of how I feel, basically.
Yeah. And I feel like for you, Melissa, I mean, obviously God circles you back into my world, you'll go out and then you'll come back, and then you go out and then you come back.
Yes.
And I feel like it's just a constant reminder of leaning into your faith, leaning into God, and having faith in it. Doesn't have to be hard all the time, because life has dealt you a lot of stuff, just a lot of stuff. They're just there's just a lot of stuff. There's no denying that. So, what would it feel like for you in your body? What would it feel like if there was a little bit of easy?
I honestly, even yesterday, and years ago I used to meditate all the time, but I couldn't even bring myself to do it. But I wasn't going to do the meditation with you guys yesterday, because I'm I can't do this with my body right now. And so I actually forced myself to do it. And at first I was very kept pushing back, no, Melissa, look at your email while they're doing the meditation, or, I kept pushing back and trying, but I did it, and I felt like this like sense of, but I don't know if I could do it again, but I was really proud of myself.
Yeah, that's
It did feel
one
like
special
easy for a
step.
second. It was a feeling that I hadn't had in my inside for a really long time.
And
Does that make sense?
that's the essence of love, right? That's where you're going to tap into, what God is showing you, that wisdom that we need when we are in that struggle space, dark space, with the space where it is all clouds and there's gray skies and there isn't the sunlight that is always touching us. So that's what that meditation is. And it doesn't have to be hard or long or, difficult. It's just a matter of letting go. And I feel like for you, Melissa,
And that's hard.
yeah, letting go of the grip of fear. Like fear gets you and then you just stay there. But saying like, no, you know what? No, you don't belong here. Like kind of shifting your thoughts into, no, you don't belong here. God belongs here. I am a child of God. It's just almost like reclaiming yourself. And we said this earlier with Barbara about like her being in soul shine is like coming back into her truth. It's like coming back and being baptized into love. And that's what they show for you in a different way, but similar. It's like, wait, that's what God is saying. Like, I want you to be here. I don't want you to do this on your own. I don't want you to feel like everything you're doing is all on your own. You're isolated, you're lonely, it's sad, it's like not getting better. He's like, because you're not leaning in me, you're not trusting that I have a different way.
And I remember like a lot of my messages, like, when I've asked you, over the past 3.5 years, I've been going through a lot and stuff. A lot of the messages from the angels and stuff that you gave me were always like talking about my worthiness. Because now I'm like, nope, I pushed that away, And so now I think that feeling starting to come back, like, maybe I am a little worthy because it keeps peeking through.
Yes, absolutely.
But like, it's so hard to like, I don't know it's so hard to let it in. I can't believe how hard it is.
What if just for this week, you just stay with, I'm worthy. I'm worthy. And that worthy can be like, I'm worthy of a good thought. I'm worthy of the sunlight. I'm worthy of this phone call. What if it's just, I'm worthy, until you start feeling it grow and joy starts coming in. And then you start kind of directing that I'm worthy of being healthy. But start small. Start with just, I am worthy to have a good thought.
I'm worthy of being healthy. That's what hits me. Yeah. I'm worthy. It's just like, whatever. But like that, I'm worthy of being healthy thing, that kind of like hits home. Yeah.
It just feels like
I gotta actually write that down.
It feels like it's just like what God makes me feel like. It's just so simple that you have so much trying on board that your head just makes a muck of it. It's just like goes and goes and goes. He says, but like if you come in here to the heart center, it's what you did yesterday. This is where I can tell you you're worthy. This is where you'll feel all of that love, because within you, inside of that, when we drop into our heart center and we go into that core color, this is that seat of the soul. This is you and God together. This is a remembrance that the physical is not the reality. It really isn't. The soul is the reality. The physical is just a manifestation of what we want, what's happening for us inside. And so when we want more love, when we really desire to be healed, coming into that soul, seat of the soul will help us to get there. It will drive us to what is that next right move? What will bring me to that peace?
It's like so scary. Like just to even let go yesterday was like the hardest thing I've had to do in a long, long time. And I know that sounds crazy, but is it more like muscle memory? Like, why is it so hard for me to like just even sit there and think? Like, is it because I haven't been able to do it so long and I've been in chaos?
So fear is addictive. This goes back to my Goddess You book, where we talk about fear
Yeah.
and we talk about Shmigo,
I love that.
because he has the upper hand because we're wounded. He takes the upper hand whenever our energy is low, when we're depleted, is when he can swoop in and he can just pour in those negative thoughts so that you feel unrest, you feel away from God, you feel unhealed, you feel everything that
Like the
isn't of love.
apocalypse. Yeah.
So our job, our goal then is to stay in faith, to stay in God's arms, to stay wrapped in your higher power every single day. And that looks for me like praying in the morning, pausing before I get on a session, calling God in. It's ending my day. It's like throughout my day, there are moments where I am one and in union, in a prayer, in a space of connectedness, because I can't do what I'm meant to do without him, and I won't do it. And that's one of the most important things that I teach my sensitive soul people, my gifted people, my people that are healers and readers and meant to be doing more, is first you have to be the light. And to be the light, you have to have relationship. If you think you're going to do it on your own, you're going to muck it up. You're going to muck it up.
I miss that feeling so much. Like, I felt like it was like unattainable, like the past 3.5 years. Like it completely left and like couldn't find me, but I feel like it's now trying to find me. I just
hope floats,
I miss
girl.
that feeling, but I miss that.
I love that for you. Hope floats. So I know that you said, money is a little struggle for you. But
big struggle. I'm on medical leave, but like I keep getting denied disability. That's another story. So like I have zero income coming in right now. It's awful. So I'm like, of course, like everything always happens at the same time. But
lean into God. Lean into,
like when I can go back to work, I want to do that really. And I think that'll probably be a better time anyway.
Lean into what God wants. Lean into the prayer. Lean into like, where is he bringing you? Don't go in your own energy, because those are the mountains and the roadblocks, right? I don't have a job, but then all of a sudden you're like, God, what will you have me do? And all of a sudden the money comes in, and then you say, God, what will you have me do? And then all of a sudden the bridge is open, and then you say, God, what will you have me do? We give it over and he leads the way. So this is a faith journey. This isn't but that feels impossible journey. This is a faith journey. And
I need to bring God into it.
Yeah. I believe that you registered for my free offer, the Angel Mediumship Third Eye Masterclass, correct?
Yeah, well, I couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure if I know that's like a class 2, and I wasn't sure kind of the difference between that and the soul, and which one I should do.
Well, that's a complimentary class that I give to people, so they learn first and foremost, like how to tap into seeing love and using their third eye, because that's what we tend to do. We can see energy, we can connect with it. You're already registered for it, so just check your emails and you can go into that. Those are pre-recorded videos. And
okay.
That's a go at your own pace. There's no interaction, there's no personalization. And then you get, because you register for that, you also are going to receive a very amazing discount for the next class, would be the next step. And the reason God had me build this way is to reach people where they are at, to reach them across the world. Like, here's this beautiful opening, learn how to work with your third eye with alignment with God. Step into learning how to work through life as a sensitive soul, as an empath, someone that feels things on a very deep level. And let's clean those mucky energy things up so that you can live and shine brightly. So that's a really beautiful path. You'll get emails. I think that's the best place for you in this time frame. Like, watch those videos.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it'll really support you.
What's it called again? Because I feel like I accidentally registered for a bunch, but I couldn't. I don't know. Me and technology yesterday, I was having.
So
which one did I register for? The intuitive third eye.
The Angel
And
Mediumship
for
Third Eye Masterclass. Yeah. So if you just check your
oh,
emails,
angel mediumship.
just
Okay.
put my name in your emails and they'll come up and you'll get the login and you can go through that.
Oh yeah. Gotcha.
Thank you, Melissa, for joining
Thank
us,
you
love.
so much. Thank
Have
you. I appreciate it. Thanks
All right,
for all
lovely.
you do.
Have a great day.
You too.
Beautiful. So let's do our meditation first. Let's get ourselves in a comfortable position. Today, we're going to do connecting with our wisdom. So the first day, we just tapped in with our core color. The second day, we tapped in with our postcard vision. And that is the thing that God has given you to show you and give you a hint on where he wants to bring you and what his hopes for your life are. And today we're going to tap into the wisdom of your soul to bring in the guidance from your highest soul self. It's really going to be lovely, and I'm really excited about this. So just allow yourself to come into your upright position if you can. If you're driving, definitely pull over or don't listen to this meditation. Allow yourself to come in and go ahead and close your eyes. And when I say come in, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to bring your breath inward and follow it with your internal eyesight. So you're going to follow your breath coming into your body, coming into your chest cavity, falling into your belly, and just become aware of your physical body. Noticing if you can let go of your shoulders, let go of tension in your arms, let go a little tension in your hip area. Letting those thoughts just occur, staying with your breath, cycling that around. Feeling the fullness of the breath as you come in, seeing if you can extend the breath, filling the belly, holding it, and then doing a slow, controlled release. You're doing really great. And we're going to come into that heart center again and come into the seat of that soul, your beautiful, beautiful soul. Connecting with your core color, connecting with the essence of the holiness of who you are. And every time you start to breathe, you feel this color become illuminated by love, by light. And it starts to take on an energy, and that becomes alive and kind of dancing, starts to fill your entire being, merging with your entire flesh and your blood and your bones and your organs. And so every part of you is touched with this light. We're going to move to the crown of our head. And at the crown of our head is a beautiful energy center we call the crown chakra, the space where we invite the heavenly love, the heavenly realm to open, to become in union with God's light. And just allow yourself to become an open vessel, inviting love in, inviting your belief system to expand, inviting in a peace, a quietness. And it's like filling your gas tank. You're being filled up by the heavenly realm. You're being filled with this glorious, glorious love. It's as if a waterfall has opened up magically above you and starts pouring energy down into your being and around your being, cleansing any negative thoughts, any shadow or dark energy, any trickster energy that's been grabbing at you or pulling at you, clearing you from everyone else. There's no one else's energy now attached to you. You are standing, sitting, lying down, wherever you are, fully encompassed in your energy. It's just you and God here. It's you and the divine. And you notice this freedom that happens You feel light and airy, free of pressure. And we're just going to open our imagination here, because the imagination is how we expand and we bring in more love and more joy. So we're going to imagine that we're standing on a really beautiful path. Your path is your path. And so just notice what your feet look like on this path. Notice what the path itself looks like. Maybe you're on the beach or in nature. Maybe you're in a forest. Maybe you're on a yellow brick road. It's all good, because this is the path of your life. You're meant to be here, now and in this moment. This is your soul path. And we're inviting the highest version of you to come into view. This part of you that's been waiting for you to connect. This part of you that lives with God. And with your senses, with your third eye, with your feelings, you start to imagine that you are envisioning this beautiful version of you standing on the path, mirroring to you who you truly are. And you can look at you. You can look at this version and feel the freedom of stress and anxiety, freedom from the moods, the depression, the illness, the pain, the past. Notice how this version of you looks, clean and clear of negative imprinted energy. Notice from head to toe the confidence, the wisdom, the grace. And you are invited now to take a step forward, to become closer, to start to come in union with this higher version of you. And effortlessly, you start to feel what she or he feels like. You start to feel the essence of unconditional love, a full possibility of the gift of life, the gift of who you are, the abundance of love and resources that are available for you. You start to see and feel and hear and know. And in union, you take a step forward on your path. In union, you see a door in front of you. And that door has been opened for you. The heart's desire, that postcard vision, is now in view. And the energy, the questions that you have on the how or the what, the why, they come to you now. You are receiving the wisdom of your soul. You're receiving that guidance right here and right now. And here I invite you to pick up a pen and piece of paper. Start writing it down. Start documenting what you are receiving, what you have received. And if you don't have pen or paper, put your hand on your heart, both hands, and just be in awe. Come in and be grateful and thankful. And if you didn't get what you wanted or what you think you should have, be grateful and thankful, because it will come when you are ready, when you let your guard down. Be thankful for who you are. Be thankful for this moment. And when you feel ready, you notice yourself back into this space. You notice yourself back in your body. You notice yourself back in the chair, the room, the office, wherever you are. You start feeling yourself coming back in as if, oh, something really groovy just happened, because it did. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Come back in. You're doing great. You're doing so great. You are so loved. How are you guys doing? How's everybody feeling? Did we get some wisdom? Did you receive some wisdom? Barbara says, I do have one question. If you get it, Jeannie. Lately, I have been receiving so many signs from my angels where I feel as if they're bopping me on the head. I've sat with this and I've tried to gain clarity on what they're trying to tell me, but I just can't. Do you have any insight for me on this? I love that, Barbara. Yes. So one of the things that I'm very passionate about is teaching, is because as light workers and healers, we are open to receiving energy from everywhere. And trickster energy can show up, low-eyed energy, shadow energy, dark energy can come in and try to confuse us. It can feel like it could be an angel. They can take on that energy. So the first thing I teach is, one, we start with only that which is of God can come to me. We start declaring ourselves as vessels of love and light, and end of story. We don't play with other energy. We don't go there. Number two is we resource it. If you are not receiving the message, that's why I tend to say, if it's not coming clear and you're just being bonked on the head for no apparent reason, resource it. Ask it to tell you who you are. Lean into automatic writing, lean into your conversation in your head, let it out. Be like, who are you and what are you doing here? What is your message? Make it clear or known, or be gone with you. And so we start to address the energy of what we want to connect with. And we start to tune out what we are not going to connect with. So resourcing means we bring it to God. We're bringing it to source energy. We're bringing it so we can see, is this a truth? Is this love? Is this light? And is it real? So that's what I have for you, Barbara. I hope that makes sense. And we do a lot of that work in the Angel Healer training, but we will also do some of it in Soul Shine too. Beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you for you guys for tuning in, for tapping in, for leaning inward, for hanging out with us for these last 3 days. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Sophia, for sharing your light with all of us and supporting me as always. I just feel so blessed to know you and love you.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
And there was one thing that came up for me with everyone, and that is that whatever you're taking from today, so for Melissa, it might be the statement, I am worthy of being healthy. For Barbara, it might be only that which is of God can come to me. If whatever statement kind of really stood out to you during this meditation or during this call, write it down, but also frequently write it down. Write it down on a sticky note and put it on your bathroom mirror. Write it down on a piece of paper and put it, next to your coffee maker. Wherever you're going to be, remind yourself of that source energy so that you can keep returning to this higher frequency. until we all meet again within Soul Shine.
Yeah, beautiful. So we're really excited, and we will, I think Sophia already put it in the feed, so you guys have the link if you're interested and it's speaking to you. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we hope to really see your beautiful faces inside of Soul Shine. Have a great day. I hope you guys love this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, you are so loved.